Good morning, good morning. Oh, people joining in right away. Welcome. Alright, I'm going to put this back on its tripod. Hopefully, set this up. Good morning, good morning. This is my first scope of the day. Getting it started a bit late. Well, it's it's early in LA, relatively speaking, to the rest of the world. I do other things this morning. Welcome. For those of you who are joining me for the first time, please put it in the comments and know that I'm a big fan of sharing the news, sharing the wealth, sharing the knowledge. So I'm just trying to get my tripod set up straight on these flexible ones, and sometimes it flexes more than I want. Stay. Okay. My name is Barry Selby. I am a relationship expert and a passionate supporter of the feminine. So this scope's going to be interesting because this scope is all about how being a man feels to me, what it means to me. Because I'm now part of a group that's got started very recently, or it's being thrived recently. If you've heard on Periscope this thing called the Peri Girls, well, there's another group formed which I'm part of, and I'm jumping in at the beginning to make this rock, which is the Peri Dudes. So that's the hashtag on this scope, and this is my first scope for that group. Hi, good to have you here. So this one's going to be a testimony in a way, a self-exposure in a way, and it's going to be really about what it means to me to be a man in this world, and why I do what I do, because this is underlying. Good, I'm glad you didn't forget about the coffee. So please, if you are interested in sharing this with your friends, any of your male friends or female friends, this is for everybody. Please go ahead and share on Twitter, invite your followers, spread the word. I welcome that. Please tap the screen for hearts if you like what I'm talking about, or if it inspires you, evokes things in you. Appreciate that too. This is going to be fairly short, we'll see. I mean, my scopes will be going longer because of the participation, so depending on you, it may go longer. But my focus is to share my message about why I'm passionate about this particular sort of conversation. This is what I do in my work, it's what I do in my life. It's fundamental. Okay, so you're all joining in, so I've got through the warm-up, so I'll go through briefly so those who just joined know what's going on. This is my first Periscope for the Peri Dudes. I've been scoping a lot, so there's tons of stuff you can find out about me. If you go to catch.me with a K /Barry Selby, all my scopes are there, and there's 70 plus there now. But this is my first scope for this group because I'm part of a new group called the Peri Dudes, and it's for men, brotherhood, gentlemen, etc. I'll tell you about that at the end. But if you're just joining me, please go ahead and share this on Twitter, invite your friends, and watch me. So, sorry, I'm just going to make a note to one of my groups so they know that I'm. There we go. So my computer's behind the screen, hence the fact I'm reaching past you to do that. It's really weird, this whole like behind the screen is other stuff going on. So again, please feel free to share it, participate. If it stirs things in you, I look forward to that. If it doesn't stir things into you, I hope I didn't miss you completely. But this is going to be about why I believe, or I should say why I am passionate about this topic. Let me take you back in time briefly. And by the way, for those who don't know me, I am the heartbreak repair specialist. I work with women primarily to help them heal their hearts and attract amazing relationships, partly because of the way men haven't been. So this is very important to me, and hopefully it is to you too. Going back in time, a while ago, I didn't have a clue about this stuff. I was going through life doing my own thing, drifting from job to job. I had a bit of an interesting journey in my life, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing now, because I want to speak to what's happening now, and I may reflect back to it in a minute. But around 2007, 2008, I had a wake-up call after the chair's squeaking against the table, so I'm just trying to get some space so it's not making so much noise. Back in 2007, 2008, which is a few years ago now, after some similar breakup patterns in relationships, I was desperate for clarity. And that clarity led me to some amazing teachers, who I'll mention if it comes up in the conversation, but I wrote about them in my book, by the way. A quick plug, I'm a published author, #1 best-selling author on Amazon. You can find this book. It's all about relationships and love. If you're single or in couples, I'll plug it at the end. It's 50 Ways to Love Your Lover. You can find it there. So, in 2007, 8, I basically had hit a wall in my life. Hit a wall about meaning, purpose, direction, because I didn't know that's what I wanted. And I was really, and thank you for the hearts, I appreciate that, I was really spinning my wheels basically. I wasn't clear. And I had a great life, things were wonderful. I've lived in 4 countries, done amazing work, had 9 careers. Yeah, 9 careers. That's a telling sign, by the way, that I wasn't living my message. And I didn't know it's what I needed, but that's what woke me up. And so for me, the wake-up call was at some retreats and trainings I went to with some great teachers and some books I read. I discovered what the difference was between what I'd been and what I wanted to be. And that was the wake-up for me about being a masculine man. And I'm going to talk to you right in this scope about the masculine versus the macho, because it's very confused in our society, in the Western world, and about how men need to be and how men need to treat women. Because this is my work, and I'm so like, passionate about this, impassioned about this. So I'm going to lay some things on you that are things that I've studied, learned, and experienced. So hopefully you'll get value from this. In the evolution of the man, in the sense of where we've come from the last 60, 70 years, maybe longer than that, there's been an evolution from what I call the macho man to where we're going next, which is the masculine man. So I want to clearly define the differences and what that means to you as a man or a woman in the world that we're creating together. Okay? So thumbs up for that, I hope. By the way, I'd love it if you would put some thumbs up, things like that. If you're listening, if you're getting input, if you're getting value from this, hearts are welcome, of course. But I want to see any comments, feedback as well, because this is an interaction. I don't want to just be lecturing you. I get in the habit sometimes of just going, here's my information, done. And you don't get a chance to respond. So if there's questions, if they want clarity, if it resonates for you, please let me know in the comments. Thank you for that. That one thumb up, I appreciate that. So, back in the 50s and the 40s, after the Second World War primarily in the Western world, and I'm using the Western world as my model, thank you again, there was a distinct style that men were in. Thank you. Well, hopefully this is content you can use. Thank you, Cindy. I appreciate you being here, of course. One of my fellow Perry 10Kers, and I'll tell you about that later on too. But right now this is the Perry Dudes hashtag, so I'm speaking for that one, which is a group that the men are building slowly together. And it's basically a wake-up call for the men. You know, the women have the Perry Girls group, which is a Periscope group for women. I don't know much about it because I'm not a woman, but I know that we need something for the men to really empower us, and that's why I want to speak to that in this scope and invite any men who are interested in this to join the Perry Dudes Facebook group. Okay, so that's that. And back in the 50s was really, if you ever watched TV back then, thank you for sharing Twitter, there was a show called All in the Family. Archie Bunker, Edith Bunker were the husband and wife. And the model was, he was the breadwinner. He went to work, come back home, and he's like demanding his dinner, and his wife would be in the kitchen making, cooking food and taking care of the kids. And that was the model that my parents were in. And probably most of that generation were very much in back in the 50s and into the 60s. And for men, that was the way we were supposed to be. And we were basically trained by the society we were in to be that way. Awesome sauce. Thank you, Antonio. And for many men, that was what we were told to be like. Or we reacted completely the opposite. And I'll get to that one in another layer, but I want to get this one clear right now. In the evolution of man, that's the first stage, I call it, and that's what I was taught is the first stage, is the man with the macho man. My way, the highway, basically it was focused on his balls. You know, it was basically his cojones. It was might of cojones against might of cojones. It was like my way, the highway, competition against other men and against the women. That's the way it was. And it worked at that point for society where it was, but we definitely outgrew that one big time. Taking one step forward, in the 60s and 70s particularly, there was a shift with men and women. Men and women, men and women, men and women. Sorry, I'm thinking something out loud here. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by it. I shouldn't look at my computer. It's distracting me. Let me get back to this. In the 60s and 70s, after the women really had the sexual revolution, the feminist movement of the 60s, which is the second stage of evolution for women. I'm not going to talk about that on this scope, but I'll talk about it later, because that was the that's a different scope. I'll put it that way. This is for the men. So what happened was for the men, with the Vietnam War, particularly in the United States, men started dropping out of society. A lot of what men did were so against that macho thing that they would put on, well, they basically grow their hair long, put on bell bottoms, smoke weed, and drop out of society, which a lot of men did back in the 60s. And it was really the reaction to the macho movement, because they weren't feeling found. So men were very, and I was not in that movement, but I certainly glanced by it. So I was not the most macho, masculine man in my teens and 20s. So back in England, where I'm from, by the way. In that journey, there's a shift. And women were getting empowered and men were feeling disempowered, and so they reacted a different way. That settled down in the 80s, give or take, 70s, 80s, 90s, where women started getting independence. Because up to that point, they weren't driving, didn't have bank accounts, didn't have a lot of control in their lives. When we got that control, and men were sort of realized they weren't no longer ahead of the game, became equal to a degree, but not complete. Obviously, there's still wage inequality and other stuff, but I'm not going to get into here. That's a political thing. But what I'm saying is, men and women grew into independence. It was negotiated relationships. Women were looking for like a combination of the bad boy and the good guy, but couldn't find either one because we were confused as men. What was the right way to be? That's stage 2, and I'll get into that one. I won't get to that in much detail because I'm going to get to stage 3, which is the juice. Stage 3 is what I'm about and what I believe in and what we need. I call it the masculine man. Different from the macho man, different from the nice guy. The masculine man. Macho man is driven by cojones, the balls. Get things done, make it happen, that's the way it is. Lack of emotion, shut down, getting things done in life, that's the way it was for men. If you think of, what's the name of the show? Mad Men. That was really the epitome of what it was like back then in a large degree, in a different era. But men were like womanizers, and that was the way men were because they didn't know any better. Now, moving fast forward to the next, this is the third generation or third stage, evolution of relationship, and for men to evolve. And we're still going. And this is the work I've been doing since 2007, 2008. This is the masculine man. The difference about the masculine man is he's not here for himself. He is taking care of himself, but he's not here for himself. He's here for legacy. The masculine man is committed to making a difference in the world that's bigger than him. The masculine man is realizing now we're no longer in competition, we're in brotherhood. The masculine man is really committed to impact, a result that makes a difference. It's kind of a warrior mindset, but it's not against anybody. It's for the world. The masculine man is driven by his heart, compassion and caring for the world, and a spine, which is his clarity of direction. And these are metaphors, I mean, they're not the physical stuff. But the masculine man is the powerhouse of the world. Now the feminine woman is his partner, and I'm going to talk about that in another scope another time. So I'm not leaving you ladies out, I'm talking about the masculine man right now. This is the calling I've been pulled into, that I'm forced into, because I know the world needs us. And this is my shout out to the men out there. The Perry Dudes group is another place to play, but I'm not saying stick to that. I'm saying in your life, in your world, to the men out there. Our mission, our heart, our purpose is needed more than ever. I learned through one of my teachers several years ago now that for a man in his masculine, purpose comes before relationship. And I've had to live that one more than once the last 7, 8 years. But I also know that it's my most fulfilling way of living my life. To be blunt, brutally honest, I could live the rest of my life just doing my purpose and I'd be satisfied. A relationship is additive to that. I don't need one to thrive, and that's another thing for masculine men. We don't need relationship. We love it, we enjoy it, we want one, but it won't kill us. Our purpose will. If we don't have a purpose in the world, it's like we're spent at the end of our life with no satisfaction, no fulfillment, no juice. And for us, men, more than ever before in our society, having a positive impact in the world, delivering a result, being in brotherhood with other men, so that we actually remember that we are family, we are connected, is more important than anything else that I can think of right now. So this is a message for the Perry Dudes, and for anybody joining the Perry Dudes. That's why I'm here. This is the mission that I feel I'm called to, and it's really what's driving my work. So why I'm doing Periscope is because I'm here to share, to teach, to inspire, to evoke what we need to be in this world, because we've been going down a slippery slope for many years. This planet, our future generations won't be here if we don't do something different. So I'm passionate about this, for not just for me, again, beyond ourselves, for legacy for the world. My work in the world is to really inspire the women, but if this message reaches the men, even better. So ladies, if you're watching this, please share this with your men, and men, if you're watching this and you're getting value from this, share with your brothers, because I'm passionate about that we wake up, we make a difference, we step up to our true nature, because that's what's needed more than ever before. I'm fed up, to be blunt, with the political games that the men are still playing, with the corporate stuff that's still going on, and some things are not happening because we are not aligned to our truth. And so I'm here to help men wake up. I'm not the facilitator of this. I'm not going to make this happen. I'm asking you, inviting you, and requesting as brothers that we step forward in the world. So that's my demand, invitation, challenge, because that's what I'm about. And so for me, living in the world is about making a difference, living my truth, being more authentic than I've ever been in my life. Thank you for the hearts. Speaking my truth in the world because that's needed more than ever. And see other men not as my competition, but see other men, thank you, Cindy, seeing other men as brothers mostly, and those who need help as well. Because I've seen so many, and I was one, that was so effed up, so confused, so thinking that I had to do it for myself and I couldn't get help. Because one of the biggest things for the masculine man is to get help. Because we forget that we can do that without losing our masculinity. Now, some qualities, just to have some, fill in some other pieces, because I realized I was so into the rant, I left missed track of where I was talking about what that feels like. For the masculine man, it's a place, as said, that where he's directed by his spine for clarity and his heart for compassion. But the masculine man is a man whose strength is in his presence. It's in being himself. He's not out there trying to run around and do stuff to get things done, which I did for many years. He's not about distraction all the time, which is really hard in this world to maintain, especially with Periscope and Facebook and everything else. It's about presence. A woman knows when a man is in his masculine because she can feel him being present. It's his strength, his depth, his courage, and the fact that if she gets upset because women's emotions are stronger than men's emotions, he won't run away or fold or fight. He will be present. That's a powerful place to be for any man. And I'm feeling I need to do both sides of the conversation, but I'm doing this one for the men right now. I made a scope later on for the ladies about the feminine. This is about the masculine man. One way I'm visualizing that in a way is like a warrior king. It's a man who has the ability to fight, to make things happen, but it's also the ability to rule with a caring hand. It's all of that combined. That's what the man's available to. That's what a masculine man can do and will do when he's offered that chance, and when he takes that chance. So my hand's reaching out to any other man and say, are you with me, brother? Can we do this together? Are you willing to step up? Are you willing to be real? Are you willing to drop the facade that you are the little guy? Own your power, but not the power is the power of inclusion, the power of respect, the power of authentic connection, is the power of your purpose. That's what I'm about. Yeah, I'm getting chills on that one. Okay, I think I'm complete because it's out. I'll go into more scopes down the road about different qualities of the masculine man, but this is what I'm going to start with, is saying this to you, to any man who watches this. We're here for a reason. And we're here for more than just to be with women. Sorry, ladies. We're here to make a difference. That will change the direction we're going on, because it's time to wake us up and head us in the right direction for our society, for our culture, for every citizen of the world, and for our planet. Yes, that's a big request. It's time, we said, it's time for us to take responsibility instead of just owning it. You're welcome. I didn't expect to say it this way, but it came out this way, so I'm just saying it for that reason. I'm passionate about this work. That's one reason I work with women, but truth is I maybe start working with men if they want to hear from me from this way, because I'm feeling this juice coming through now more than ever from my teachers that I've been embodying and taking on for the last 8 years. And it's the more I talk about this, the more I get juiced up, because I realize I've been, sometimes even in the last 8 years, asleep at the wheel. Yes, I published a book. Yes, I coach clients. Yes, I speak on this. But Periscope's giving me another expression that's waking me up to speak more fully and to wake everybody else up. So that's my message. I'm going to cut it off there because I don't want to get off track. I want to stay on track. So one quick plug again. This is my book. If you want to read about relationships and romance, 50 Ways to Love Your Lover. You can find it on Amazon.com in physical and Kindle. It's on my website as a PDF if you want it there. You can find out about me at barryselby.com. You can also find all my archives videos on catch.me with a K, catch.me/barryselby. So follow me on Periscope, please. Share this in the replay with your friends, your followers, and anybody else who you think might be woken up by this message. This is a clarion call. This is a wake-up call to the men out there. And if you feel it and you want to agree with me, awesome. Let's play, let's dance. If you want to join the group on on Facebook, it's look for Perry Dudes on Periscope. Look for Perry Dudes on Facebook. That's what I'm trying to say. And the hashtag will be out on Periscope a lot, which is Perry Dudes. Simple enough? Thanks for the hearts. Thanks for watching. I've got 4 more scopes to do today. It's a busy day. This was a bonus one. This is my daily challenge to share this as part of the Perry Dudes. So You'll catch the replay. Yes, please do. It got in deep. I don't know how long that was. I think it was only, well, I don't know. Go watch it, please. Thank you, and I value, appreciate it. And a couple of quick things, by the way. If you're interested in my work, in my profile, there's 2 live links. First link is the link to my website for a discovery session. It's called a consult. You can opt in there to talk to me if you want to get more information from me personally. The second link is my tip jar. I welcome donations over PayPal. It's such a simple thing. For throw $1 in there, $5, $1,000, I'm fine with that. But it's a tip jar that I just take donations for my message. If you like what I'm saying, you get value from it. It's also validation beyond the hearts and the thumbs up. It's like whatever. If you feel like it, I appreciate it. And by the way, it's a tip, by the way, you can put live links in your Periscope handles, but don't put your email address. That's a spam attractor. Just put in a website link like I did 2 of them. Anyway, that's my Periscope scope, which is later on today. That's my message. Hopefully that's got everything out you need to hear. I've got more coming, so be following me. I'll be telling more stories and sharing more stuff about my journey and about what you can do differently. And I will do a scope for the ladies at another time, but this was a Perry Dudes scope. Okay? Thank you for being here. I'll be back on again probably in the next half an hour with another scope. And in fact, I've got 2. I'm part of a spotlight for the Perry Newbies group, which will be showing up in about an hour. So stay tuned. I'll be back. All right? Thanks for watching and thanks for the comments. Please watch the replay. Share it with your friends, particularly those you care about, particularly the men. And I'll see you soon. Bye.